Welcome to this fine event. It is my great pleasure to announce your TBJ president, Mr. Charlie Oransky. Ladies and gentlemen, a nice round of applause for Charlie, if you would.
All right, we want to get started, everybody. If you can hear me, we have a brief presentation here. We don't want to interrupt the party too much. So if I could have your attention up here. For those who couldn't hear, my name is Charlie Oransky. I'm the president of the TBJ board. And I want to officially welcome you to tonight's event. This is really a very important evening for our congregation. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Tonight we are celebrating the successful conclusion of our capital campaign, which is known as Building Our Sacred Home, and of Project Gateway, the enormous construction project which took place here over the past year and which all of you are enjoying tonight, including this beautiful Steiner Hall and the Cooperman family lobby. It's all here for us to see. The tangible and physical results of the campaign are astonishing. As of yesterday, our campaign raised $12,491,194. And for anyone who's familiar with fundraising at the Temple level, this is really an astonishing result. And the funds and the results of the campaign are not just going into the building, the outside, they're going into the infrastructure, and we are significantly increasing our endowment. The results of all this is that we have strengthened and secured the future of our congregation. Now, none of this has happened by accident. It came about through the hard work and brilliant leadership of Jeff and Amy Kaplan. I don't know, Jeff and Amy Kaplan over there, and Steve and Marilyn Green, who I last saw over there. They were the co-chairs of our capital campaign, and also through the incredibly hard work and brilliant and outstanding leadership of Richard Mandel and Eric Sellinger, who co-chaired the Project Gateway Committee. To these co-chairs, I convey our congregation's deepest thanks, as well as our congratulations to them on tonight's well-deserved honor. I also extend the congregation's congratulations to Jody Cooperman over there, for the honor Jody's receiving tonight of our Distinguished Service Award, about which Rabbi Gewirtz will say more in just a minute. You'll be hearing thank yous from other people tonight. I want to, at this point, thank our four co-chairs who are right over here: Karen Mandelbaum, Kit Mandelbaum, Leanne, and Talia Mandelbaum. They have been working on this project for more than 6 months, and I have to say that it's beyond belief fantastic, and the crowd is fantastic, and the room is beautiful, and the food is great, so really thank you, ladies, for this. And lastly, I want to thank Maureen Spivak, who I know is here somewhere in the back. I see Maureen. Maureen is our immediate past president for the last 3 years, and it's under her leadership that really all of the work and these projects took place during this time. So thank you, Maureen. And now Karen Mandelbaum, our co-chair, is going to say a few words.
On behalf of my co-chairs and myself, I'd like to say a few words, and I'll be very quick. Thank you, Charlie. This is truly a wonderful evening. I would like to take this opportunity to extend my personal congratulations to all tonight's honorees. We are incredibly fortunate and so grateful that Lawrence Scott created such a magnificent evening for our first big celebration of our new space. On behalf of the Temple B'nai Jeshurun, thank you, Larry, for your unbelievable generosity. You are a true mensch, and what you have done for us by donating all the delicious food, drinks, and magnificent decor is truly extraordinary. Thank you, and thank you. I'd also like to say thank you to Greg Mistretti from Pure Energy Events for creating a beautiful, perfect music atmosphere. And you will have the after night DJ after the party he will be doing. Thank you to Susan and Lenny Shapiro, opening nice journal chairs. Your tireless work and dedication to TBJ and the Ad Journal are truly appreciated. Shira Rost, thank you for chairing the raffle. It is because of your organization, determination, creativity that our raffle is such a success. Thank you, Lauren Rutkin, for all of the work you have put into opening night. Your input and guidance has been so helpful. I would like to extend a very special thank you to Jamie, Debbie, Alice, and Barbara, and the entire TBJ staff for your hours and hours of hard work and commitment to this wonderful gala. And last but certainly not least, thank you to the entire committee for everything you have done. Your energy, enthusiasm, and timeless efforts has made opening night a grand success. And now our beloved Rabbi Gewirtz. Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to all turn your attention here. And if you don't, I'm going to preach for 2 hours next Rosh Hashanah. Tony thinks I'm kidding, but I'm not. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin by asking you to join me in expressing gratitude, because from the bottom of my heart, and people have been saying this all night, that it's almost impossible to believe that we're here in this space that is so old and yet so new all at the same time. So please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. We praise you, God, who has given us life, who has sustained us and brought us to this incredibly joyous moment in the cycle of this community's life. And together we say with a loud voice, Amen. So folks, I don't mind. Come on, listen. There is a party planner's measurement of parties that says that no matter how many people you invite, there'll always be about a third attrition. You ever heard that before? Your wedding, your bar mitzvah, it always works that way. But at a certain event of a certain family, sure enough, everyone showed up and there wasn't enough food. So the parents of the bar mitzvah or of the wedding went around and wrote a note in front of the egg rolls, in front of the little hot dogs, in front of the dumplings. It said, only take one. Only take one, and beware, God is watching. The last bowl of the table, suddenly people noticed everyone was taking mounds and mounds and mounds of whatever it was that was being served. And the hostess was wondering what was going on. And she goes over there, and on the same card, it was turned over, and some guest wrote, take as many as you want, God is watching the other appetizers, but I promise you, God is not watching the shrimp. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are overflowing with guests, and I promise you that when Karen and Leanne and Talia and Kip Mandelbaum run a party, there is overflowing food and drink, and you could have as much as you want tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy, because this set of chairs and their committee has done an extraordinary job tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to our chairs and the job they've done tonight. Thank you. Thank you. And folks, where is Larry Scott? Where's Lawrence? Is he around? Okay, back corner. He doesn't want to make himself too apparent, but in 3 years is Jake Gewertz's bar mitzvah. It's Jake Gewertz's bar mitzvah, so we're booking you for that night. And folks, anyone who sees this night, I promise you that Temple B'nai Jeshurun could look like this every night. This is the person who's donated so generously. This is the person we want to book for many, many years to come. Thank you so much. I'm still going to ask, I know you folks in the back want to hear me. Shh. Thank you. Several months ago, people said to me, do you think we'll reach 200? And I said, I think we're going to do better than that. We're going to do 300. Do you think we'll do 350? Well, folks, tonight, my good people, I can tell you that we have over 600 people here this evening. Never in my 18 years as a rabbi have I seen an affirmation and a confirmation of a community's values the way that I see tonight. And I, from the bottom of my heart, from my family's heart, is so incredibly thankful. I want to tell you that 9 years ago, yes, I am starting my 9th year here as your rabbi, which is extraordinary. Steve Green said to me, before we try to change the building, let's make sure that we do a process of understanding who it is that we want to be here. So we engaged in a long-range planning process, and we studied everything. Demographics, spirituality, Israel, Tikkun Olam, every aspect of community we studied. We did for about 2 years, and then we gave it to a master planner and an architect, and then he gave us a price tag. He gave us a price tag, and it scared us by way of its sticker price. But what made us even more fearful is that something called 2008 came along. 2008 came along, and this country stood on the precipice of disaster. At that point, our president was Eric Sellinger, and he and I sat and made sobering decisions about what it is that was going to happen in this community. And we decided to go out there and ask you, and you said, don't stop. You said, don't stop, because this is not just a place, this is our second home. So we went out there and we asked, and the architect said, this is what it costs, and our fundraising consultant said, if you're lucky, you will raise $8 or $9 million. And we went out there and we asked, and people said, if you're prudent, if you're wise, if you care about making sure that you bring a sense of nurture and steward to this process, we're going to give. Now, I will say, now I'm not a fundraiser for a living, but I will say that still we would like to raise, if anyone would like to be able to finish off this evening. But I will say, yes, Charlie's clapping, I will say that with that stretch of $9 or $10 million, with tonight, I will add to Charlie, we have reached $12.75 million. And I say that, and I want you to listen, even those of you drinking in the back, drink, but listen. Drink, but listen. Folks, this is because of you. This is an incredibly generous community. This is incredibly an enthusiastic community. This is an incredibly passionate community. This is a community that has given, as the Bible says, whatever your heart moves you to do, you give, and you have given with such extraordinary depth and love for this place. This is not just about money. This is about human beings. This is about Jews. This is about our future, and we want to thank you from the very bottom of our hearts. And folks, everyone said, and you should listen to this carefully, that only 20% of our community would support the project. And guess what? No one said this would happen, but we now have 65% of our community, 65% of our community who has participated in this project. Everything, no matter what your capacity, has meant everything to this community. Folks, thank you so much for giving from your hearts. I want to thank our Capital Campaign Committee for the work that they've done. And I'm not going to mention names tonight besides our honorees, because I've been warned many, many times that I should not speak as long as I speak in the high holy days. So thank you to the folks who have done that. I want to thank the folks who have made this building look the way that it looks. For the first time, I have heard person after person after person saying, I don't need to do my bar mitzvah or my wedding or anything anyplace else. We can now do it here at Congregation B'nai Jeshurun in this extraordinary space. Yeah. So thank you to our Gateway community, our Building Our Sacred Home community. No committee has ever put together a place the way that all of you have. I promise I'll be done soon, so shh. And this brings me to the obvious gratitude I feel towards our staff, and you all deserve incredible thanks individually, and I'm not going to name you because of the time restraint tonight, but I want to just end by coming to our honor reasons by saying the following. The story goes that an architect designed an extraordinary building like this. The carpet, the opening, everything that you see here tonight, and they had an opening night just like we did. And everyone came in and they were just awed by the extraordinary structure of the place. So the night was about to begin and they said, let's turn the lights on. And they turned the lights on and nothing happened. And they said, okay, go to the fuse box, turn it on again, and nothing happened. So they called the architect forward and they said, you're supposed to be the best architect. Look what you did. Just like Epic and just like Spiesel, the best architects possible. And they said, the lights don't work. And the architect got up, Spiesel got up, and Epic got up, and they said, here's one issue. When it comes to building a synagogue, we only build what you see around us. And listen to this carefully. When it comes to the light, it's up to you to bring the light into the community. It's up to you to bring the light into the community. So tonight to our honorees, I say to Marilyn and Steve Green, I'm looking for you, right there. Marilyn, Steve Green, you have brought light to our community in this project. Because of your deep wisdom, your sophistication, your elegance, and your counsel. You knew when we should step forward and when we should step back. Without your initial commitment, none of this would ever have been. I love you both because by bringing me here, you forever changed my family's life, and for that, I am forever grateful. To Amy and Jeff Kaplan, you have brought light to our community and this project through your class, through your dignity, through your optimism, through your sense of always reframing our journey so that we could be successful. You only see the best in people. You only bring out your best to remind us what it means to do right, to be right, and to care about what is right. I love you both because when we asked, because you believed in us so much, you knew that the only answer would be and always would be yes. And for that, I am forever thankful. Eric Sellinger, did he leave? Sometimes he leaves, okay. Eric Sellinger, you brought light to our community and to this project because of your insistence in always asking the hard questions, because you constantly drill down to the kernel of the matter, because you made sure that every I was dotted and every T was crossed, because your commitment to everything you care about is unwavering. I love you because you never hold back. You put yourself right out there, and everyone who loves you, including your dad who's looking down upon you, knows of your steadfast loyalty and of your steadfast love. Thank you, Eric. Richard Mandel. Yeah. You brought light to our community in this project. Folks, we're almost finished. Shh. Because I have rarely met anyone with your brand of commitment, your brand of ultimate commitment. You were here every day and every night throughout it all. This was your baby, and nothing would get in the way of you making sure that it was done right. You cringed on the bad days, and you felt ultimate satisfaction on the good ones. You, Richard, are the epitome of what it means to be steadfast in anything about which you care. I love you because one day we walked out of this building in the summer when everything was going wrong. And I said, how is it that I could ever thank you? And you said, you don't have to thank me, Rabbi, because this is what I'm supposed to do for my community. This is what I'm supposed to do for my community. This is a labor of love. And for that, Richard, and for the phone call you made to me before anyone did, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Richard Mandel. And Jody Cooperman, where'd you go? She always hides. Jody Cooperman, one more time, shh. You bring light to this community because you are the one who reminds us that we are so much more than any building could ever be. You are the heart of service. You are passion. You are justice. You demand that every single human being be whole. Your commitment to balancing the scales of justice is so replete with purpose that you drive all of us, if we like it or not, to follow your lead. Indeed, you wake up every morning intent to feed those who are hungry, to put a blanket around those who are cold, to make sure you house those who are homeless, and you will go out there and make sure that you unshackle every single person who feels oppressed. I love you because we made a commitment to each other all those years ago that this place was going to be the model of a synagogue community. And Jody, we're not perfect, but in 9 years we've done pretty darn good. And I am so proud to be in partnership with you. Now, the Mandevals won't talk to me again because I've gone further than my time. But I will say that much more than I can say, for those honorees, you deserve so much more, so we're going to give you this. We have a gift for you which will say it much better than any rabbi that I can say. Ladies and gentlemen, and especially you louder ones in the back with the scotch in your hands, everyone turn towards that screen or these screens here, because for our honorees, we have an incredibly special presentation and gift for you on this night that we honor you. Folks, please quiet down and look towards the screen, please.
Congregation B'nai Jeshurun has experienced many changes since 1848 when it was founded by a group of German Jews in Newark. From its early days on Washington Street to its long run on High Street to its arrival in Short Hills in 1968, the congregation has always been proud of its community, its service, and its growth. So, when the new generation looked towards the future and more change, the congregation rose to the challenge.
The idea of the project is actually fascinating. Everyone thought at first we needed to change an aging building. And then we decided before we make any changes, let's decide who we are spiritually, where we want to go. And once we worked really hard on that vision, the physical part became something that was done with incredible intention and with incredible purpose. We had to choose people for this project that had a complete and utter respect for our grand and storied tradition and history, and also who were not going to be stuck in a way that was not going to allow them to create anew. So it wasn't that hard for me and for the cantor to decide who that was. It was the wisdom of Steve and Marilyn Green. It was the foresight of Amy and Jeff Kaplan. We knew they were the only ones who were going to be able to drive the campaign in the incredibly effective way that they did.
When we first moved back to town, my old temple was full and they wouldn't take my son, despite all the calls from my parents who had been members for 30 years. So they called their friends, Miles and Liz Adelman, and they told them what happened. And by the next day, my son, my family, and my parents were all members of B'nai Jeshurun. So when the chance to work on this renovation came along, of course, they jumped at it because they felt like they'd be renovating their home. Because seriously, from the first minute she walked in there, the orange carpet, not working for her.
And with her keen eye for design and my dad's commitment to the synagogue, to sort of making a better space for everybody who's going to come along, it was a no-brainer for them, for sure.
One thing my dad brought to the table is the ability to get people to open their hearts and open their wallets.
He inspires people. Being able to watch our parents give in this way makes us extremely proud, and we hope that we're able to do that in some way as well, and that our kids are able to take that on as well.
My grandparents are so committed to everything that they do, especially B'nai Jeshurun.
They're passionate about family and Jewish life.
They're caring and loving.
They're generous with both their hearts and their time.
So when I think back about TBJ, I think about, my experience going to camp at TBJ, being in Mrs. Hochberg's class when I was younger. I think, for as long as we've been members there, it's really fostered a great sense of community. And my parents, they've always been intent on giving back so new families can enjoy that same communal relationship with every other member and every rabbi at TBJ.
My dad is always the one that walks up to everyone in the room and introduces himself or takes 2 minutes to catch up with someone he hasn't seen in a while.
So when I think about my mom, I think about someone who's right about 99.9% of the time. So, from an organizational perspective, she's perfect for the job.
Jeff is always willing to lend a hand to different charities. He's always willing to help raise money, and he's really, really good at it.
It was really, really an amazing thing to see them not only working on this project, but working together on it. It shows how committed they are to not only, the temple and our family, but to each other, and that's something that is really, really amazing.
First funds are raised and then construction needed to be done. And anyone who's worked on a construction project knows that it can be a mammoth responsibility. So we needed, as the Bible suggests, two architects, if you will, who are sacred architects. And for us, not biblical, but of this age, are Richard Mandel and Eric Sellinger. And they did it without missing a beat.
'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Eric said yes to the job because he's so passionate about his Jewish life and about the temple's role in his Jewish life and in our family's Jewish life. He honestly loves to do the whole renovation aesthetic, the whole piecing together, working with the electricians and working with, the contractors and all of that. He's willing to take on those headaches. Eric thought that doing the renovation project was important because we're such a strong Reform congregation, and we were sort of a little bit behind. I'm so proud of Eric. He took a lot of pride and a lot of ownership over the work that they did, and it turned out better than, I think better than anybody could have hoped for.
So yeah, I'm very proud of my dad. He always kept a positive attitude even when it wasn't so positive looking. So that's something I can definitely learn, when things aren't going good, gotta stick with them.
Well, watching my dad and his involvement in the temple has made me want to become really involved in the temple, and I've learned how important it is to really prioritize Judaism and its values and traditions and keep them alive.
Richard likes to make people happy, so naturally he loves to get involved and he wants to bring things back to the community.
Richard was extremely into it. He knew everything that was going on. We were looking at the offices and he noticed that a windowsill was missing in one of the windows. So he went to Home Depot, bought a step, went to the shop where I live, cut it, made it, told the foreman about it, and he said, sure, we'll put it in and paint it.
Richard is a warrior. He worries everything. So every time we have a torrential rainstorm or something, he will go and make sure that everything was covered.
I'm always impressed with Richard. He knows how to do more than I think he does.
Watching my dad go to TBJ before and after work has taught me a lot about hard work, commitment, and giving back to the community, and I'm so proud of him for the work he's done.
My dad is extremely passionate and driven. He never quits no matter what, and I find that quality to be extremely admirable, and I strive to be like him every day.
I'm so proud of him. He did a really great job, and most importantly, he's very proud of it. It's his baby.
So with this extraordinary team in place, we changed our building. The old carpet came up, the social hall was transformed, and the awning went from this dark entrance to this incredibly beautiful thing of light. But we are more than a building. We've always been more than a building, and we decided that every single thing we did here had to be matched or superseded by the work that we do to change the world. And we knew no one in this place embodies the idea of service than the heart of Jody Cooperman.
You know, ever since we moved into Short Hills, Jody joined the temple and became involved with the Women's Association and president right away. She really enjoyed the community service aspect of it and the Tikkun Olam. And when they came around with the capital campaign, I mean, she immediately said the kitchen. She does the Bridges food runs, she does the food pantry, and that was very important to her.
Maybe one of the funnier stories about my mom and Tikkun Olam is that you would never expect her to be a truck driver, but occasionally she drives a huge U-Haul, and she'll just have a U-Haul full of food and take that into Orange, and you wouldn't expect that, but she can be a truck driver.
Before like Christmas at the food pantry, my mom, she goes out to like Target and she goes to buy clothes, and after buying all of the clothes and checking the price, she says, from now on, every single thing we get is going to be from Target.
The most important part of TBJ to me has always been Tikkun Olam, because that's been the most important part to my mom. And that's something that sort of controls our daily lives. It controls what I do in school and what I hope to go on to do in my life.
I think that it's amazing that my mom can do everything that she does do and do it as well as she does. I learned most from my mom how to be a better person and how to put others first.
Well, Jody does so much to help make the world a better place. We're all just so proud of her.
This project says a lot about B'nai Jeshurun. It has galvanized people in a way that is not just about money. It's galvanized people to realize what commitment to one's Jewish community means. And we have to say that we are going to change with times. And we're not just an institution, but we're a home.
You're my home.
So ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Julie Mazer for the extraordinary video. Invite up the Mandelbaum women, our chairs of this evening, and we want to present gifts on behalf of our congregation. These gifts will never represent what it is that you've done for us, but we call you up in this order. Steve and Marilyn Green, please come on up. I must be. Steve and Marilyn Green, a big hand, please.
turn around a second, you'll do the next one. Thank you. Okay, next.
Amy and Jeff Kaplan, please come on up here.
Thank you very much. Thank you for everything. Thank you. Thank you. Of course.
Thanks, Jeff. Thank you. Let's take a picture.
Oh, picture.
Amy. Good job. No Eagles shirt, too.
Thank you.
Hey, where's Cantor Stahl? Cantor Stahl, where are you? Oh, he's drinking. Come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, Cantor Stahl. Mr. Eric Sellinger, come on down. Got a lot of fans back there, Eric. Cantor, please.
Thank you.
Thanks for everything, man.
Thanks for doing that. It was sweet.
Come on, have a picture.
Oh. Where am I looking?
I'm not sure. Mr. Richard Mandel.
Thank you for helping it all right.
Thank you. Sorry, can I take a picture? Nice.
Okay.
Jody Cooperman. Hello, Leanne. Take a picture. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our congregation, we thank our honorees, we thank our leadership, we thank you folks. There's so much food to eat. Everyone have a wonderful night. And there's an after party, dancing and eating. Folks, what a lucky, raffles, what else? Raffles and auction and food and drinks. Folks, thank you so much.